So if you saw my video of the tankless water heater install, you'll know that my basement is an absolute dungeon. And so hopefully with these 4-foot lights, I can lighten the place up a little bit. These 48-inch lights are from Ensenior. They come in a 4-pack and there'll be a link in the description. The advantage to these lights is that each one has a plug, a switch, and a female end, so each light can be plugged into another light. Each light has its own mounting hardware. These chains are about 13 inches long, so you'll be able to suspend them from the ceiling. These lights aren't that heavy, but if you're going to suspend the light in just drywall, I would recommend getting some actual, more substantial drywall anchors. So to illustrate how these lights can be helpful to people with, say, one light in their garage and how it's going to be beneficial down in my basement, let's just say that you have a garage and you have one light in the middle. And then you'll walk out of your door, you'll have a little switch here, you'll flip the switch on, and you'll have only one light, and it won't give off that much light. So the one light isn't that bright. I see it all the time in garages. And so what you can do is you can swap out the light fixture for an outlet. So from your outlet, you can take the male end, plug into the outlet, and go over to your light, which will already be plugged into your light, be at the end. And then you can go ahead and put your lights around your garage wherever you want, and then you can sit here and connect these together, and now your one little light in the middle now just became 4 shop lights. So I may have exaggerated this a little bit considering these cords are only about 4 feet long, but what you can do, since you would have an outlet and you would have 2 places to put in a plug, you can kind of make different configurations based on what is going to work in your situation. And as I said, 4 of these lights can be plugged in together. So if you got, say, a couple packs of them, then you could put extra lights on. The main thing is that, I know it looks terrible, but the main thing is they only want 4 lights hooked together. And so if you start another chain, no big deal. But they don't want a bunch of them hooked together. So in my basement, at the top of the stairs, I have a switch, and it controls right now 4 lights down in the basement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn 2 of these into outlets, and I'm just going to put a cover on these lights here. And so since I have a lot of obstructions out of my basement, what I'm going to do is once I have my outlet, I'm going to decide where I want the 4-foot light bar, and then put the light wherever it kind of makes sense around the obstacles. So generally I like all my lights hardwired, meaning they're connected up to the Romex in the circuit. So you have your light switch, goes to the Romex, connects right up to the light. The reason I'm going to do this is because I actually put these 4 lights in there, and it wasn't actually the best option. Like I said, you can still see it as kind of a dungeon down there. And so if I want to get more of these lights to help lighten up other areas, I'll be able to sit here and just plug in extra lights and kind of get them to where I want them to be, instead of having to sit here and rewire the whole basement, try to put in more light boxes. So to complete this conversion, you're going to need your outlet, you're going to need a cover plate screw, and you're going to need one of these cover plates. I wasn't able to find one of these in plastic, and so you might just have to get a metal one. And how this is going to work is this is going to hold your outlet and sit right over that light box. So you've turned off the power, you've taken down the light fixture, and so now what you should be left with is the screws in your light box and your 3 wires. These screws here that usually screw into the outlet box to the junction box, these need to come out, and also I need to take these ears off. Now you're going to go ahead and install this outlet just like you would any other outlet. It's not required, but I always wrap electrical tape around the outlet just to make sure when I push this into the box, nothing goes over and hits that screw. Just in case that bare wire or something will go over and hit that hot screw. Set your plate in place and just neatly bend your wires around. Next, you'll get this plate tightened down. So at this point, you can go ahead and turn on the power to your light circuit, get your light mounted, and go ahead and plug it in. Then when you go over and flip your switch, your light should come on. If it doesn't, you might just have to hit the switch. They also make these fixtures to where there's an outlet on the side, so it'll accept a bulb, and you'll also be able to plug in a cord to the outlet. So here's the before of the basement. Has a few lights here and there, but it's still pretty dark down here. So remember that everything I'm doing down here in the basement isn't going to apply if you're just going to use these above a workbench or something. Just mount them to the drywall, plug the end into an outlet, and then use the switch to turn it on and off. So to get started, I obviously want to turn off the power. But what I'm going to do first, so I have some light, is I'm going to plug this light into the extension cord. I plugged into the wall over there. So since I have the lights and the outlets on in different circuits, I'm able to do this, which is kind of an advantage. And I'll use my new light as a temporary light. So my case is going to be a little bit different than what I showed in the first part of the video, in that I put in the outlet boxes and then just hooked the light fixtures to them. They are still controlled by the light switch up at the top of the stairs. And what I'm going to be doing is just taking these light fixtures out and putting in outlets. So we're still thinking we may put a drop ceiling here in the basement. And so what these boxes will serve as is junction boxes to run the wires from the box there over to our lights in the drop ceiling. But in the meantime, we think that these lights are going to be a good option for this area down here, considering we're probably not going to do the drop ceiling for probably another 4, 5, 6 years. Of course, these are 4-foot lights, so they're going to be a lot brighter than just the bulbs. But what I like about these is there's still a dark spot back here, so I'm going to get another set of these. And then if you look back against the wall, there's another dark spot back there. So I'll use a couple of lights there and then one more light just right here. And then this is where I'll end up putting that last 4-foot light. So I'm really happy with these lights. They're really easy to install, and I'm looking forward to getting another set and getting rid of all those dark areas in the back corner of my basement. We appreciate everyone who has supported our channel. And if you think these lights would help somebody, or this idea might help somebody, go ahead and share this video with them. And we hope to see you in the next video.